What do Des Bryant, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, Joe Hayden, star for the Cleveland Browns, and Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers have in common? They all hit the national stage first right here in the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. Who will step out as tonight's star? Find out next. It is a great night to be in the Lone Star State as top high school football players from across the country converge on Cowboy Stadium in Arlington for the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. A big howdy to you and a Lone Star welcome. Alongside LaDarren McClain, I'm Doug Anderson. And LD, this is an all-star game in the truest sense of the word. So much talent on the field tonight.
Well, we're certainly going to be in for a treat tonight, Doug. And for you and I, this is going to be the biggest group of collective talented players on the field at one time. Future college stars and potential NFL future stars also.
Let's take a look at some of those future stars. For the East squad, quarterback Matty Mock leads a talented group of players. He comes from Kenton, Ohio, where he set the national record in total yardage.
Well, he's a top 25 rated pro-style quarterback, according to Rivals.com, and he's going to be blessed today with a talented group of wide receivers and a very strong and talented offensive line.
And P.J. Williams leads that East defense. As for the West, well, they have a Texan leading the way tonight. Tommy Armstrong, the quarterback from Cibolo Steele High School in the San Antonio area. He's played here twice in state championship games.
And he's won a state championship and unfortunately lost a state championship to Spring Decaney this year. He's rated as a top 10 dual threat quarterback. Look for him to have some hot action tonight.
The men who have had the privilege of coaching up these young men all week long are down on the field, and so is our man on the sidelines for tonight's game, and that's Ted Emmerich. Hey, Ted.
Hey, Doug, thanks so much. You'd be hard-pressed to find two coaches that have more diversity on their resumes. Richard Solomon of the West and first East coach Jack Giambrone has certainly logged the frequent flyer miles in his career. He's coached everywhere from Ohio State to the NFL Europe. Solomon of the West has spent 17 years in the college game, 20 years in the pros as a scout. He's also the defensive coordinator tonight. But one thing that Solomon and Giambrone both have are combined 35 years working with offense, defense, sports, not only with this game, but also the camps in the summer that go along with it. And both agree, in a game like this, coaches just need to get out of the way and let the players do their thing.
It should be fun to watch the players do their thing tonight. Kickoff is just moments away. Stay with us as we bring you the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl next. The Offense-Defense All-American Bowl set to come your way from Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. The coin toss taking place down on the field. The East won the toss, and they want the football. That means that we will see the East offense first. East wearing the blue uniforms tonight with the white numbers and red trim, and the West is donned in the white jerseys, the red pants, and the red numbers. As you get a look at Richard Solomon, the head coach for the West, assistant head coach at Mesa Community College, a longtime NFL scout and former assistant at Syracuse. And one thing that stood out in talking to people about Coach Solomon this week is not just the fact that he's a great football mind, LD, but he is a mentor and a guy who really is a role model in the truest sense of the word for the young men that are on the field tonight.
And that really goes well with these young athletes coming out of high school. And really, Doug, when you talk about coming out of high school and going to college, you're talking about kids going to the real world. So it's very good for Coach Solomon to reach out to these kids, give them a taste of what reality may be for the future.
You look at Nate Peterman there from Florida, the 6'2", 210-pounder on his way to the University of Tennessee. He was the 6A Player of the Year in the state of Florida this past season, leading his team to the state championship game. He threw for almost 3,000 yards and 36 touchdowns, a finalist for Florida's Mr. Football Award.
Well, a lot of really contributes and really matches are really contributing to him to Chase Daniel, the New Orleans Saints. They really think he has that type of pro-style a capability, I should say, to play well at the next level.
Blake Tibbs and Malcolm Lewis back deep to return for the East. Tibbs is a dangerous return man wearing number 1 in the blue. Kick will sail to the 1-yard line where it is taken by Kenyon Drake. And Drake working his way to near the 20-yard line, which is where the East will set up offensively. And LD, when you take a look at the offensive line for this East squad, let me just give you a rundown of the universities that these young men will be attending: Miami, North Carolina, Arizona, Southern Miss, and Clemson.
That sounds pretty good. A little Pac-10, a little ACC, a little SEC going on.
A couple of 300-pounders at the tackles, including Eric Flowers and Javarius Lehman. Peterman starts the game at quarterback. His pass complete to the 25-yard line. Quentin Smith with the reception, the 6'4", 205-pounder from Dillon, South Carolina. As you take a look at the starting lineups for the East All-Stars, tight end J.J. McCullough on his way to Clemson University, and the running back Kenyon Drake, one of the top-rated athletes in the country, ranked number 12 in the nation by Rivals.
And really what he's going to benefit at the next level is in the kick return game, but just a versatile athlete. And you see him getting the first take at the running back tonight.
Peterman has time to throw, wants to go deep, incomplete. Pass was intended for Quinshaw Davis. And that will bring up 3rd down and 5 for the East offense. As we look at the starting lineup for the West defense, these teams will line up in a 4-3 look tonight, and these linebackers are about as good as it gets: Lamar Lewis, Otha Peters, and Joshua Perry. Perry committed to Ohio State. Lewis on his way to LSU. Handoff to Drake on 3rd and 5, and he will be short of the first down. That will send the kicking unit on for the East squad. The kickers tonight will handle both punting and place kicking duties. And for the East, it's George Bullock, a 6'2", 195-pounder from Knoxville, Tennessee, who's committed to the UT Volunteers.
You'll start to see here, Doug, in this game, in special teams, you're going to see a lot of players that are predominantly offense and just straight defensive players. They're going to get their shot at special teams tonight for the first time. That's something to keep an eye on.
Ball taken at the 18-yard line. Nifty move up past the 30 to the 35-yard line for the West as Eugene Lewis makes the return for the West All-Stars, and we'll get a look at their offense. Here's our officiating crew, honored with officiating tonight's ball game. The referee is Arnold Gladson. Stormy Johnson, Joe Burkle, Buzz Cup, Bernard Teal, Pat Ortiz, and Gary Threadgill round out the crew.
Illegal formation, kicking team being forced on the end of the run.
Well, what if these guys are all-stars too? We got pretty much everything in the stadium being all-star tonight.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Except you and me, of course.
I feel pleasure. I feel very, very welcome.
Tommy Armstrong from Steele High School in Cibolo, Texas, will start
Illegal
the game
formation.
at quarterback.
5 in the backfield. First down light.
Armstrong committed to Nebraska as a dual-threat quarterback. He follows that pipeline of Texas players going up to the Cornhuskers, including Rex Burkhead, who came out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. First pass from Armstrong is complete. C.J. Curry making the grab up at the 45-yard line, picks up about 5 yards on that gainer. As we look at the starting lineup for the West offense, Jermaine Ifedi, a left tackle, is a Texan on his way to Texas A&M. Denzel Dodson, Corey English, Brandon Panika, and Cedric Butasi round out the offensive line. Pharaoh Brown is uncommitted right now, but we get the word that he might just make that announcement at halftime of tonight's game.
Well, always a good sign of entertainment for the folks at home to stay in and stay tuned.
2nd down and 5. Armstrong will hand it off to Warren Ball, and Ball powers his way across midfield into East territory. Ball is 6'2", 215-pound bruiser from Columbus, Ohio, and only fitting that he's headed to the Buckeyes of Ohio State. We take a look at the East defense in that 4-3 look. Tyler Hayes at linebacker along with Jeremy Powell. Cordrea Tankersley at free safety is one of the top defensive backs in the country on his way to Clemson.
First and 10, ball marked at the 47-yard line of the East.
First down for the West. Another handoff, this time to Javon Robinson. And Robinson is wrapped up at midfield, and it's a nice job by Carlos Hood to make the tackle. The 6'3", 255-pounder from Stevenson, Georgia. He is one of 3 players in the ballgame tonight that play on the East defense that played high school football at Stevenson High School in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Now, how talented a team is that?
Very talented, it should be. You got guys going to South Carolina. You're talking about Hood. He has the talent to be a next year starter there for the Gamecocks.
Handoff goes up the middle. This time it's to the fullback, Jaleel Pinner, a 6', 220-pounder from Mission Viejo, California, committed to the Trojans of USC.
You look at Pinner there, Doug. He battled some injuries in his senior season, and he's rated as the #1 fullback in the nation. And it's good to see him get off. In a game like this, you usually see teams put 4 wide receivers out on the field, but you see right off the bat, they want to get Pinner into the game early.
Long third down facing the West squad. Armstrong drops back. Flush from the pocket, will throw it, almost intercepted, and falls incomplete. Ronald Gohagan had a good shot at the pick six. Had he been able to come up with that pass, the 6'2", 195-pounder on his way to Clemson, but does a nice job of deflecting the pass to fourth down.
You're talking about some good skills by Gohagan. Gohagan's originally a linebacker, and now he's shifting out playing the safety, which is a more natural position for him. And you see the cover skills there, and he's going to be a good one at the next level. A lot of raw skills back there playing the defensive back.
Handling the punting duties for the West, Joshua Appleby. And his punt sails high and into the end zone. Touchback for the West, so the East will take over on their own 20-yard line when we come back. No score in Texas in the offense-defense All-American Bowl. No score in the offense-defense All-American Bowl from Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Doug Anderson, Ladera McClain with you. Ted Emmerich down on the sideline. We'll be hearing from him throughout the night as he talks to players in tonight's ball game, as well as some special guests in attendance tonight. East with the ball. Second possession for the East. And new quarterback in the ball game, Matty Mock, the 6'2", 195-pounder from Kenton, Ohio. First play is a handoff across the 20 to the 24-yard line. Keith Byers, the second, with the run. Picks up about 4 yards. Byers, a 5'10", 205-pounder from Boca Raton, Florida, one of the few uncommitted players in tonight's ball game.
He's a big, strong, talented football player, but his main key is catching the football out of the backfield. And wherever he ends up and what school is fortunate enough to grab this kid's going to get a very versatile back, kind of like a good specialized third down back.
Second down and 6. And Mock runs from the pocket, being chased and dragged down at the 24-yard line. No gain for Matty Mock as he was pursued by Jamichael Winston, among others, the defensive end from Alabama who's on his way to the University of Arkansas.
You're talking about 2 defensive ends, Jamichael Winston, Joshua Dawson, and Crew. These are some of the top defensive ends in the nation, and they are relentless in their pass rush. That's going to be a tough challenge for these quarterbacks. Not only the quarterbacks, Doug, but also the outside tackles. Can they block long enough for the passes to get off?
Mock this past season passed for 5,400 yards and 68 touchdowns in leading his team to the state championship game in Ohio.
Yeah, that's like Xbox and PlayStation 3 numbers right there. That's unheard of during the course of a full season.
Flags on the play.
Penalty flags on the play.
Dead ball foul. Delay of game. Blue. Third down.
You know, Doug, and one of the things that you'll notice tonight in the game is the offense is going to be one step as far as cohesive units behind the defense. The defense will have the advantage in this game, and it's going to take some more reps and some more plays for the offense to catch up. And that's what we're seeing here early. Just not a well-developed plays yet. Just the timing is off.
Mock, again under pressure, gets rid of the football this time, incomplete on 3rd and 11. So another 4th down coming for the East, and another punt from George Bullock, as Matty Mock had about the same amount of success that Nathan Peterman did on his first possession, and that was not much against this West defense.
I can tell you this. All 4 of these quarterbacks tonight are not going to have all day to sit back there and pass. Now, some great offensive linemen on both sides, but you have to be mindful. Get that little man in your head to throw that football and get rid of it.
Eugene Lewis back to receive the punt. A 6'2", 190-pounder from Wyoming Valley West in Pennsylvania. He won't get a chance to return this one.
I think that hit a West player there.
The East squad certainly thinks so. They jumped on top of the football. Our referees have made no indication to that effect yet.
It looked like it hit DeVario Montgomery out of Winter Park, Florida.
Let's take a look at the replay.
Now watch this. He's usually a receiver, not used to playing special teams. Actually, that's a different player. That was actually number 50, Otha Peters, out of Covington, Louisiana, going to the University of Tennessee.
So the ball hits Peters in the leg. The East jumps
Blocker
on
was
top of the
pushed into
football.
the ball as it came down. That touching is disregarded. We got 1st down, receiving team.
The penalty, or the turnover, is disregarded, if you will, and that means that the West All-Stars will get a chance to operate their offense. Tommy Armstrong stays in the ball game at quarterback.
Armstrong at the quarterback position.
Armstrong, his pass incomplete on 1st down, and let's send it down to the sideline. A special guest standing by with our Ted Emery.
All right, Doug, with LaRon Robinson, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver. And LaRon, I know that you're wanting to get really involved in OD sports and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, you know, I came out here earlier this week, met some of the kids, did an autograph signing for them. You know, they're just some great kids, you know, very athletic. I wanted to come out here because I'm a big fan of football, and I wanted to check them out, so I'm excited to help out any way I can.
Can you imagine that you would be able to settle in here in Dallas-Fort Worth and have a successful season with the Cowboys like you have coming off the street?
Man, it's a blessing. You know, I just been patient enough, you know, battled through some injuries in my previous 4 years, and just found a great connection here with Dallas. I'm loving the offense, you know, got real comfortable and confident in it, and been on the same page with Tony since day one. So it's a good feeling, and love to play and wearing the star every day.
Ron Ray, appreciate the time.
All right, thank you for having me on.
All right, thanks a lot, Ted. And LaRon Robinson of the Dallas Cowboys. Briante Dunn on that last carry, picked up about 4. 3rd down and 7 coming up for the West. Defenses have dominated the flow of the game so far tonight. We'll see if the West can make a big 3rd down conversion. Armstrong over the middle, incomplete.
Pass incomplete.
And that will bring up 4th down for the West, and for the 2nd time in as many possessions, we will see Joshua Appleby on to punt. Appleby, a 6'3", 235-pounder from East Limestone in Alabama, committed to Louisville. Now, one thing to keep an eye on, Tommy Armstrong stays in the game, LD, is the up back. Perhaps a fake here early in the ball game? No.
Oh, he better make that block. One almost got blocked there.
Return coming from the 5-yard line up to the 20. Big block across the 30-yard line. And the East, with a good return from Malcolm Lewis, will set them up in nice field position on their 3rd possession of the game. No score at Cowboy Stadium in the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. Malcolm Lewis trying to give the East a spark. All-American Bowl action tonight in Arlington, Texas at Cowboy Stadium. The Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. Offense, defense, an organization based out of South Carolina, and LD Certainly the state of South Carolina represented well tonight from these young men. 7 players committed to Clemson, 6 to South Carolina's Gamecocks.
And Doug, you also have the Gatorade Player of the Year of South Carolina on the squad for the East tonight, Quinshaw Davis. And we haven't called his number here tonight. He's one of the best receivers in the country. He's a 4-star athlete, rated 44th in the nation in top receivers. Let's see if they can get him going in the offense.
Justin Thomas in at quarterback, the 3rd quarterback to run the team for the East this evening, a 5'11", 178-pounder from Prattville, Alabama. He is a Georgia Tech commitment. As he drops back, looks to run, and will across the 40, up to the 45 and the 47-yard line. Justin Thomas with some nifty running, and you get the idea that in his high school days, that's what he liked to do best.
Yeah, you can see it when a play breaks down. What an advantage you have when you have an athletic, mobile quarterback like Justin Thomas right there. Now, he probably won't play too much quarterback at the next level, but you never know, especially with the triple option that Georgia Tech likes to run. Justin Thomas could fit in there nicely.
13-yard gain for Justin Thomas and a first down for the East. Handoff will go to Spencer McInnes, the fullback, and McInnes will barrel his way forward for a few. About to midfield here at Cowboys Stadium. You see the AT&T Cotton Bowl logo at midfield. Cotton Bowl just about a week away, January 6th, featuring the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Kansas State Wildcats. Should be a tremendous game here about a week from now.
Now that's definitely a cool shot right there, looking on top of the field at the players. First time tonight we've seen the East start to move the ball a little bit. A lot of that was Justin Thomas getting out of the pocket.
Thomas looks to throw. He's under pressure, runs into the official, and is taken down by both the official and Caleb Azubike of the West defense. And our officials will have to talk that over. And the ball came loose, but I don't think they could charge the East with a turnover on that play. I mean, the official caused the fumble.
Well, Azubike, that might be his easiest sack of the season. He gets an assist there by the official. But Azubike, I tell you what, that's a talented player, and we'll be probably saying it about everybody all year. He has the frame to play defensive tackle, but such a physical specimen and speed on the outside, you can see there, tracking down quarterbacks.
Well, what do you know? They give the ball to the West.
Yeah, I mean, the officials are part of the field. And, you know, unfortunately there for Thomas, he got a little bit of unfortunate right there.
Yeah, tough break goes against the East there as the officials help the West a little bit, causing that turnover. West will hand off on first down as Jaleel Penner, the fullback, gets the carry, picks up about a yard. Second down coming up for the West offense.
Now, it's really going to be a challenge tonight for these offensive linemen going against some very versatile defensive linemen. Now, these are some of the best offensive linemen that you'll see at the high school level. But you know and I know, to be a good offensive unit, you've got to have a cohesive type of togetherness up front. And it's going to take them a while. And sometimes a week of practice, you can't get that worked in.
Armstrong throws one deep. Man toward the end zone, fighting for the ball. It's a catch at the 1-yard line. Gabriel Marks, how do you do?
I think that's going to come back. And we got a false start, number 85, Kadvara Holmes. He was the slot receiver at the top of the field, and he's going to get caught for a moment. But this is just an outstanding play, and this is what all these receivers have, the ability to go up and catch the football at the highest point.
We have illegal motion, White. We have an ineligible receiver, downfield on White.
So 2 penalties against the West offense will negate that tremendous catch by Gabriel Marks, the 6 foot, 175-pounder from Venice, California. had committed early on to SMU's Mustangs.
Ineligible receiver downfield. That penalty is declined. Illegal motion. White. Second down.
Marks, as recently as last week, however, saying that he's reopened his commitment, reopened his recruiting process a little bit, and is taking a look around. Some uncertainty with June Jones at SMU, whether or not he was going to take another job, might have led to that decision. Handoff here to Warren Ball, and Ball works his way across the 40 down to the 38-yard line.
Well, we've seen some pretty nice runs there by Warren Ball. He's the 15th rated running back, according to Rivals.com, in the nation. And not only does his speed make him very attractive for the Buckeyes this coming fall, but look at the ability to shift, to get outside, lower that shoulder, and turn himself into a weapon instead of a target of being tackled.
5-yard gain for Ball makes it 3rd and 11.
Now, Doug, this is the part of the game where it's 3rd and long. These defenses certainly have the advantage. Now, you won't be able to blitz much. It's going to be a watered-down version of defenses and offensive game plans. This is a situation where the defense can pin their ears and really put a lot of pressure on that offense.
Dead ball foul. Delay of game. White.
Couple of delay of game penalties tonight, one against the East, one against the West.
Yeah,
I wonder if maybe the disorientation of Cowboys Stadium might be causing that a little bit. You're not sure where to look to find the game clock, or the play clock for that matter. Pass incomplete on 3rd and 16. Eugene Lewis was the intended target for Tommy Armstrong, but that will bring up 4th down, and the punting unit coming on for the West All-Stars.
It's a good job there by Tommy Armstrong. He hits that back foot, and immediately the ball is out to his receiver, and it looked like Lewis there just lost his footing, but the ball was on time, and it could have gave him a chance to make a move and beat a defender.
Lewis back team winning the punt from Appleby.
Joshua Appleby. And Appleby's punt, sail out of bounds.
Appleby's punt out of bounds.
Oh, that's a pretty good one right there.
As our side judge walks it up to the 10-yard line, that's where it will be spotted. So a good punt from Joshua Appleby puts the East All-Stars on their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, that's the thing with these kickers today. They get to do some things they wouldn't normally do in the course of the season, punting and kicking at the same time. And a lot of those punters, their target is obviously to get inside the 20-yard line. Anything less than that is a bonus. And you saw there executed there, getting on the 10-yard line.
At the quarterback position,
Nathan Peterman back at quarterback. Peterman, quick pass.
Peterman's pass is
Caught in
complete.
the flat by Jason Kroom, and Kroom, the Tennessee commitment, across the 15 up to the 17-yard line. 7-yard pickup for the East.
These quarterbacks for the East going to have some nice targets. They have a lot of possession receivers on the East side. Jason Kroom, one of those. He's listed at 6'5", 223 pounds. He has an NFL body right now at 16, 17 years old. And then you go across Quinshaw Davis, 6'4", 185. Quentin Smith, who caught a pass earlier, 6'4", 205. So this is the bigger collective group of receivers here in this All-American Bowl.
Peterman on 2nd and 3, option pitch to Drake, and Kenyon Drake with nifty moves across the 25 up to the 30-yard line, picking up a 1st down for the East. Kenyon Drake from Hillgrove, Georgia, an Alabama commitment. We've got a few guys on the field tonight that will be very interested in what goes down in the national championship game between LSU and Alabama.
Yeah, certainly so. And a lot of teams and a lot of players are going to get some definitely good looks here tonight that are unrated. They have a chance to move up here tonight on some big programs.
That is the final play of the first quarter. At the end of one, no score between the East and the West All-Stars in the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. A look at the East coach, Jack Giambrone, as he watches his All-Stars trying to put the first points on the board tonight in the offense-defense All-American Bowl. Doug Anderson, LaDarren McClain with you, along with Ted Emmerich down on the sideline. Glad to have you with us in the Lone Star State tonight. Nathan Peterman at quarterback for the East, throwing it over the middle, incomplete, as he was looking for J.J. McCullough. Let's send it down to the sideline now and check in with Ted.
All right, Doug, Jameel Pollard, defensive tackle from New Jersey, one of a few players who are ready to commit tonight. It's down to Boston College and Penn State for you. What's the choice?
Well, thought long and hard about it. My choice is going to have to be Penn State. You know, we are Penn State. We're going to stay strong. True and blue, baby. All day. Shout out to the Rock Louie back at West Deptford. Never go change.
Jameel, considering the controversy surrounding that program, they don't even have a permanent head coach. Why Penn State?
Penn State's going to be Penn State no matter what. Whether any coach is there, no individual, no coach, no anyone's going to change who Penn State was and will be.
Jameel Pollard to Penn State.
All right, thanks a lot, Ted. And breaking news here at the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl as Jameel Pollard commits to Penn State. Jody Fuller with the catch for the East All-Stars. The South Carolina commitment close to a first down.
You look at Jody Fuller, he's one of these guys that can play inside and outside. He's arguably the most physical receiver that you'll see on both sides. He's 6 foot, 201 pounds, and he can definitely bring it. Just a talented outside receiver, and he's got a chance to make some big plays at the next level.
Handoff. First down, Kenyon Drake, and Drake bounces off a tackle and gets a whole lot more. As he goes across midfield, Kenyon Drake into West territory. Big run for the Alabama commitment.
Yeah, pretty good blocking on the offensive line. Javaris Lehman does an excellent job of maintaining the block, and that allowed Drake to do what he does best, get out in the open field and then turn it into a foot race.
19-yard pickup for the young man from Hillgrove, Georgia.
Well, now you start to see this offense find some things working for them. Now you saw some passing completed. Now you're starting to see the running backs start to get some running lanes. And I'll tell you what, these big guys up front, once they get into the flow of the game, hey, the sky's the limit for these offenses.
Peterman throws across the middle, caught at the 30-yard line by Malcolm Lewis. And Lewis will pick up another first down for the East All-Stars.
That's a good route here by Lewis. He comes across the quarterback's eyes, and that's so key for these young receivers to recognize the coverage. If you've got a guy telling you, hey, go all the way across the receiver's eyes. If you feel zone, shut it down a little bit. Find a pocket in the hole. Excellent job there by Lewis to get in the open field.
Peterman on first down will pitch the ball. Drake in the backfield tries to find some running room, goes out of bounds, no gain, as he was pushed down by Ray Buchanan Jr., a familiar name to many NFL fans, the son of the former pro Ray Buchanan. He is committed to the University of Arkansas, and that has a lot of Razorback fans happy.
Yeah, he's a 62nd rated quarterback in the nation. And the scouts say that he's just a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical than that. Does a nice job of maintaining, setting the edge there on the defense.
Second down and 9.
Peterman throws one on the slant, incomplete, as he was trying to find Jody Fuller. Third down and 9 coming up for the East. And both of these teams finally, after one quarter of play, looks like the offenses are starting to wake up a little bit. The East able to move the ball down the field, but now facing a long 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and that's key. You're starting to see them mix up the play call a little bit, passing, following up with the run, mixing it up. Not a whole lot of 3rd down conversions tonight, but that's what an all-star game's a lot. Defenses will rise to the top at the beginning. The offenses just have to settle in and run the offense.
Peterman, a tremendously accurate quarterback, and he shows you how accurate as he finds Jody Fuller inside the 5, 1st and goal for the East.
Yeah, and that's what Jody Fuller is going to be, a good receiver at the next level. Now you see him line up inside, and if you put him with the linebacker, he's going to make that play. And number 22 for the West, Orlando Thomas, was a hair off of knocking that ball down. But again,
26-yard gain.
You see the accuracy there, Doug, by Peterman to thread that the ball in between the safety and the linebacker.
Timeout, blue.
The East team with a timeout.
Timeout on the field. No score in the offense-defense All-American Bowl, but the East is knocking on the door. It's 1st and goal for the East All-Stars in the offense-defense All-American Bowl. No score here in the second quarter. Nathan Peterman has led a nice drive downfield for the East. The 6A player of the year in the state of Florida, handing off to Kenyon Drake, and Drake going over the top for the first score of the night.
Touchdown for Kenyon Drake and the East All-Stars.
That left side of the offensive line is a pretty good group of linemen. Watch big number 66 there, just maintain his block. That's Caleb Peterson. And they do an excellent job of moving the offensive line or the line of scrimmage and allowing Drake to dive in for the end zone.
Kenyon Drake with 5 carries tonight, and the 5th is a touchdown that puts the East on the board, leading 6-0. George Bullock, the Tennessee commitment, on to try the extra point, and it is no good.
Extra point is no good.
Bullock pushing that one to the right. So our score will remain 6-0. East All-Stars in front. And there's a good look at a very talented young man, Kenyon Drake of the East All-Stars.
You can see how versatile Drake is, and they can line him up anywhere on the field. I think his main bit is going to be kickoff return game, but watch, he benefits from a good block for the fullback. I couldn't really see who it was. Excellent job there by Cayman Bundage as well.
Cayman Bundage, the center for the East All-Stars. One of the only a few Texans, or non-Texans I should say, that has played at Cowboy Stadium before. At the beginning of the year, his Douglas High School ball club out of Oklahoma City took on the DeSoto Eagles from the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the Kirk Herbstreit Classic here at Cowboy Stadium, and it wasn't a good day for Cayman Bundage and his teammates as they lost.
Not for that day.
63-0 was the final score, and that one DeSoto won it. And he has to look across the line of scrimmage and see one of those DeSoto Eagles, Michael Richardson, a linebacker who's committed to Texas A&M.
I think there was some bragging rights going on during practice all week about those two there. You know, you got to really think this is a culmination of 4 years, really, for a lot of these kids, and they get to showcase their talents here on a national stage. And this is fun for them. You know, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get in one of these games like this, but this is really a fun time for these kids to come out, hang loose, and have fun before they go off to their respective colleges.
Javon Robinson takes it at the 1-yard line, running backward, now trying to move down the sideline. Benefits from a nice block and across the 20.
Woo!
Javon Robinson with a nice return, but you've got to give the credit to his special teams crew.
Yeah, you see number 55. Watch this from the side of your camera. Lamar Lewis going to LSU next year. The Bayou Bengals, you're going to get blocks like this. There you go.
That one drew a second set of oohs from the crowd here tonight on the big screen as they watch the replay.
And some of these kids, once again, they don't play special teams. They haven't probably played special teams since their freshman and sophomore years. And it's a chance for them to do something that they aren't normally doing and have fun and make some big hits like that.
New quarterback in the game for the West All-Stars, Caleb Rowe. And Rowe going deep, first pass incomplete, but he had a man. And unfortunately for Caleb Rowe, C.J. Curry was not able to reel it in, and now he stays on the turf here at Cowboy Stadium.
Oh, he went up and climbed the ladder to try to pull this down. It looked like he had pretty good possession there. Yeah, and he does land very, very awkwardly there. And it just shows you how athletic these kids are. You're unfortunate there. You hope Curry can get up on his own 2 feet.
C.J. Curry, a 6'2", 208-pounder from Flowery Branch, Georgia. committed to Oklahoma State and a 4-star prospect rated by Rivals. One of the things that people say when they talk about C.J. Curry is that he reminds them of another Oklahoma State star, Des Bryant, now with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, especially with his physical tools, 6'2", 208 pounds, and he has the leaping ability like Des Bryant, and it's really funny he's going up there to the Cowboys at Oklahoma State.
Hopefully C.J. Curry is okay. Looked like he landed hard on that left arm and might have injured the shoulder in the process as he was coming down for a hard landing, but now Curry up, and hopefully everything will be okay. One of the last things, if not the last thing, you want to see happen in an all-star game is for a player to sustain an injury.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see this. And like I mentioned earlier, this is a time for these kids just to have fun before they go off and, you know, play at their colleges. But yeah, you can tell there he definitely landed awkwardly on that left shoulder.
C.J. Curry walking off to the sideline under his own power, and with that, play will resume. 2nd down and 10. Gives us a chance to tell you a little bit about the new quarterback in the game for the West. Caleb Rowe, 6'3", 211-pounder from Blue Ridge, South Carolina, committed to Maryland's Terrapins. He has already played in one all-star game this year. He went 16 of 26 for 120 yards in the Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. Handoff up to the 29-yard line that time by Briante Dunn. Dunn rips off 8 yards, and this is a young man that has a lot of Buckeye fans very happy as he is headed to Ohio State. A 4-star prospect, 6'1" and 220 pounds.
Urban Meyer and the Ohio State Buckeyes, they're going to get some talented running backs, and you know Urban Meyer is going to have that spread offense. Even with Briante Dunn at 6'1", 220 pounds, he still can fit in that offense as the featured back in the spread offense.
And with Warren Ball also on the West offense, a running back committed to Ohio State, you've got the future of the Ohio State backfield on the field tonight. Pass.
Nice throw.
Caught up at the 34-yard line, and a nice catch as well by Eugene Lewis. Lewis is an interesting story, LD, number 86 for the West. A young man committed to Penn State, a receiver, but played quarterback for his high school football team this past year, running for 1,000 yards and passing for 1,500 yards.
Well, I think you can see his natural position is to be split out wide. Great intangibles, 6'2", 190 pounds, can really run out of sight, and you saw there the most important thing with the receiver are the hands, and he went up and caught a ball that was a little bit out of position, made a nice play.
A timeout on the field called by the West. 8:34 remaining in the first half, and Caleb Rowe and the West All-Stars trying to answer the East touchdown from a moment ago. They trail 6-0 at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. 6-0 in the offense-defense All-American Bowl. Doug Anderson, LaDarren McClain with you. Ted Emmerich on the sideline. And there is Jack Giambrone, the coach of the East All-Stars, a former NFL Europe head coach, and now the athletic director of Sinclair University. As we heard from Ted Emmerich earlier tonight, he is donning the coat and tie in honor of Tom Landry. Of course, the former Dallas Cowboy legend. Big pass play going down the far sideline for the West All-Stars as Pharaoh Brown makes the catch and turns it upfield for a big gain.
Well, Pharaoh Brown at 6'7", 230 pounds, does an excellent job of selling the fake, and Rowe gets outside off the play-action pass and finds a wide-open Brown. This is what you're going to get at the next level. Whoever decides to get this kid here, or wherever he decides to go, is going to get a versatile tight end that can stay in and block, but also show you the skill when he catches the football downfield.
Boy, prototypical tight end when you talk about size, 6'7" and 230 pounds. That was a 47-yard pickup for Pharaoh Brown. First down for the West. Rowe throwing for the end zone. Nobody there.
And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get guys off the same page. You only have a week or so of practice to try to cram the playbook all into one.
Caleb Rowe, a 3-star prospect, according to Rivals. Last year, threw for 27 touchdowns and almost 2,700 yards for his high school team.
Yeah, I really like Caleb Rowe. He has, to me, that it factor that you'd like to see in your quarterback. Good measurables, 6'3", 211 pounds, has a solid arm, and we've seen him throw some nice passes. But the thing that is going to get him going to the next level,
the passer, blue, first down,
is Caleb Rowe's high IQ level, his ability to pick up the playbook, and he's doing a good job of that here early.
Well, Rowe has certainly sparked this West offense, as he has them in their best field position of the night. 3rd and 1, Rowe with a pitch. Head to the corner inside the 10. Now cutting back inside the 5-yard line, Warren Ball. And Ball down to the 2-yard line where it will be 1st and goal for the West All-Stars.
That's unfortunate there for Jeremy Pollard, number 58 in blue for the East. He had a chance to make this tackle in the backfield. But Warren Ball, again, 6'2", 215 pounds, shows you the versatility of shaking a defender. Well, they're going to get some good ones in Ohio State. And you got a guy that can go inside, and Ball is the guy that can go outside and inside for you.
For the East All-Stars.
7th play of the drive coming up for the West. Single setback, the handoff to the fullback, Pinner. And Pinner barrels his way toward the end zone, but did not get in. Stopped down inside the 1-yard line.
Every once in a while, you got to throw that old fullback a bone. And in today's football, the fullback is somewhat of the lost art in football. But here, watch Pinner. Gets right in behind Corey English, number 70. Does a nice job, and you see Kimo Topodi doing an excellent job of kicking in the block. Watch this block here. Good drive, keep your hands away, get the fullback in there, and he almost get in the end zone there.
Topodi played his high school ball in this area. L.D. Bell High School in the Hearst Euless Bedford Independent School District.
Ball against the carry.
Warren Ball with the handoff, and this time the West does punch it across. Warren Ball with a 1-yard touchdown run to tie the game at 6.
Pretty good blocking up front by the big guys, and this is what they do, maintain their blocks. You got All-Americans across the board, obviously. Ball does a nice job of finding the seam, and that's going to be the one trait for these young running backs. As good as they are, you have to be able to smell the nose of, get that nose of the football in the end zone and somehow find a way to get it in.
Warren Ball's favorite player of all time, Walter Payton, certainly somebody to look up to.
Absolutely.
Joshua Appleby with the extra point. It's good, and that will be the difference in the ball game right now, as with 6:24 remaining in the first half, the West has taken the lead on a Warren Ball touchdown run. It's 7-6. 7-6, the West leads the East in the offense-defense All-American Bowl, an 8-play, 79-yard drive that takes 3:54 off the clock. Warren Ball with a 1-yard touchdown run. Let's send it down to the sidelines and check in with Ted Emmerich.
All right, Doug, an injury update on West wide receiver C.J. Curry, the Oklahoma State commit. Looks like his night is done. His left shoulder being attended to by trainers. Now he has an ice pack without shoulder pads, and Curry grimacing as he was trying to go through the stretches that the trainer was putting him through. Unfortunately, he's just not able to have the flexibility in that shoulder. His night is done.
All right, thanks a lot, Ted. And sad news for C.J. Curry as he is out for the night. And when you saw the reception and you saw the way he landed on that shoulder, that was your initial thought, that it had to be a shoulder injury of some sort. And it does look like that is the case. Hopefully not too serious a shoulder injury for C.J. Curry.
Yeah, and I think that's the best move, is just to let him sit out there, and you hope that he can get that bended up and ready to go. Certainly feel bad there that he got hurt in a spectacle like this.
Kick 5 yards deep in the end zone, taken out by Blake Tibbs of the East. And Tibbs across the 20 to the 23-yard line. Nice return for Blake Tibbs, the 6'2", 180-pounder from Martin Luther King High School in Atlanta, Georgia, on his way to the University of Georgia.
Well, how about that Joshua Appleby putting that ball 5 yards in the end zone? These are two of the best kickers in America. That's a weapon in itself, and that's why they're going to some big-time colleges.
Yeah, Appleby on his way to Louisville to play for the Cardinals. And Matty Mock from Ohio on his way to Missouri to play for the Tigers, who are on their way to the SEC. SEC schedules came out this week, and it was very interesting to see Missouri and Texas A&M with an SEC schedule.
How about that?
Home games for the Aggies against teams like LSU, and then they go on the road to play Alabama. They play Florida at College Station. What a tremendous event that's going to be.
They're certainly going to have to prove themselves early in the first year of the SEC football for the Aggies and for the Tigers.
Otha Peters with a nice tackle on that play for the West. Peters, 6'1", 225-pounder from Covington, Louisiana. He is a Tennessee commitment.
Second and 13 to call.
Second down and 13, and Matty Mock, a pro-style quarterback, having to go to the arm here. Under some pressure. Tries to break out and is taken down by Michael Richardson, who had chased him down from behind. Michael Richardson, no stranger to this building as he plays for the DeSoto Eagles, who make it a habit to play at Cowboy Stadium.
And Michael Richardson is originally a defensive end. He's rated the top 30 rated defensive end in America, but he's going to probably move out and play linebacker next year for the Aggies, showing in his rush skills and versatility, tracking down Matty Mock, the quarterback.
Third down and 12. As Mock brings in the play. Played for his father at Kenton, Ohio.
Timeout. Blue.
Matty Mock's older brother, Ben Mock, held the national record for total yardage until his younger brother broke it this past year.
It must be something in the genes. That's a whole lot of miles those two kids have put up together. And, you know, when I look at Matty Mock's numbers, when I saw 21,000 yards, all-purpose yards, it's just unheard of. 21,000. You know, a lot of people don't even get that in a 10-year career, not alone in 4 years.
All offense and defense, yes.
Get a look at the big uglies on the offensive line there as well. That's J.J. Peterson, number 65, 6'4", 310-pounder on his way to North Carolina, barely fitting into that blue jersey tonight.
well, the scouting report on Peterson, you look there, is that he has a mean streak. He can be dominant at times and really sometimes just plow big holes in that offensive line. And that's what you want. You want to have somebody that can come in the next level, going to college, and make an immediate impact. And Patterson, I should say, is definitely going to do that next year in North Carolina.
You look at the third down conversions. And the East facing another long third down here. 3rd and 12 as Mock drops back under pressure again, delivers the ball incomplete as he was trying to find Quinshad Davis. And Peters there to break it up.
That play never had a chance. Matty Mock wanted to get it away, but it was well read there by the defense. Akima Nwafor read that play from the beginning, and Peters comes in, one of those new breeds of linebackers in the era of spread football, reading the play, making a play there.
So on 4th and 12, George Bullock will punt. Bullock chose Tennessee not only because he hails from Knoxville, but also because he grew up a Volunteers fan, had to choose them over the Naval Academy because his grandfather graduated from the Naval Academy, and it was Something that he thought he might want to do as well was join up with the midshipmen, but in the end, the Tennessee Volunteers went out for the services of George Bullock, and I'm sure that the Vols are very happy about that.
Well, it just goes to show how all these big-time colleges are big-time colleges because they go out and get the best special teams players, and they get all the players that can play on both sides of the ball a lot of times. And if you can have a solid kicking game, especially in the SEC, definitely gives you a chance to be productive and successful.
First down for the West on the 41-yard line. Movement on the line as Caleb Rose stays in at quarterback for the West All-Stars.
Dead ball. False start. White. First down.
Yeah, a lot of times when you have different quarterbacks in the game, you and I have seen enough of this year in our high school games we've watched and done, and the cadence sometimes will throw these offensive linemen out. And some of these offensive line have played with one quarterback for 3 years, and now they have to get adjusted to two quarterbacks in a matter of weeks. So it's difficult at times to play on offense.
Handoff on 1st and 15 up to the 39-yard line. Goes Javon Robinson. Robinson, the 6', 215-pound running back from Wooddale, Tennessee, who is headed to Auburn University. Number 12 rated running back in the nation, according to Rivals. And why not? The past 2 seasons as a junior and a senior has rushed for over 2,000 yards.
He's the 9th rated running back in the country. Another versatile back, especially with that great size. He can definitely do some things inside. But at the next level, you better be able to pass protect and catch the ball out of the backfield.
2nd and 12, Rowe shakes off one man, looks downfield, has a man caught. That's Pharaoh Brown. And Brown, the big 6'7" target, makes it easy for Caleb Rowe as he picks up a first down.
Hey, I tell you what, that Caleb Rowe is a player. That's a great play. Not only does he elude the rush, as a quarterback, you've got to be able to feel that and still keep your eyes downfield. As he gets, we didn't see him elude the rush, but find your receiver. Keep those eyes focused downfield. You've got 2 of the biggest tight ends in the country, arguably. 6'7", 230 there, Pharaoh Brown, and obviously Darian Hutchinson. We hadn't seen him play at 6'7", so you got some good targets. Just get out there and make a play to your skill players.
We've seen 2 big catches from Pharaoh Brown tonight. Had a 47-yard grab that led to the West's only score in the ball game. And now Rowe will keep it and head for the sideline out of bounds at the 35-yard line as he picks up about 3.
And see, there's another example of a quarterback having a busted play, Doug. And you go, uh-oh, where's my running back? But you just get upfield, and he picks up 4 to 5 yards.
Nate Sudfeld was originally supposed to be in this ball game, but Sudfeld could not make it, so Caleb Rowe was a late addition to the West All-Stars, and boy, has he come in and played well.
And you know, the director of the O&D personnel, and as far as picking the players, Josh Buchanan was very excited to get Rowe to come in and fill in that spot, and I think he's showing you here tonight his intangibles and his leadership of moving the offense down the field.
Rowe rolls out, this time goes down. A big pursuit and a takedown by the defensive lineman Shaquille Lawson, a Clemson commit, 6'3", 255-pounder.
And this is the one thing as a quarterback at the next level, they can run faster and are stronger than you are. And Shaquille Lawson, a defensive MVP earlier in one of the All-Star games, showing you some extreme drill skills there. Great strength, length, and explosive, and a very smart football player.
Wonder if they call him Shaq Daddy on his high school football team.
6'3", 255.
Call him whatever he wants,
whatever
right?
you want there, partner.
3rd and 13 coming up for the West with 2:21 remaining in the first half. And a timeout on the field. The East All-Stars scored first, but missed their extra point. And the West All-Stars responded with a score. They made the PAT that has them ahead 7-6. Let's send it down to the sideline, and we'll check in with Ted Emery.
It's time for another commitment, and West offensive tackle Cedric Putasi with his high school coach Paul Bennett out of Desert Pines. Cedric, what's your choice?
I'm going to be attending college next year at the University of Utah.
This has got to be a big deal. Why Utah for you?
Because I have a great relationship with the coaches, and I love the atmosphere out there. And, I mean, I really think I fit in over there. So, and I love the way they run the academic session, so it's a great fit for me.
Offensive tackle Cedric Putasi headed to Utah.
Thanks a lot, Ted. And Putasi, 6'5", 320 pounds from Desert Pines, Nevada. So Utah, not much of a stretch for him, but certainly gets to play in a place where he's comfortable, and that is a program that's done some great things over the last several years.
Well, I thought he might be able to follow his cousin right there, number 72, Brandon Fanica, who's going to the University of Texas. And, you know, one of those things that, you know, hey, you got to go your separate ways, but congratulations to Putasi there, going up there to the Utah Utes.
On third down, Rowe with a pass to Gabriel Marks. And Marks is going to be well shy of a first down. We mentioned Marks, an interesting story as he had originally committed to SMU, but has reopened his recruiting, but still SMU in the mix, and I think getting a chance to play here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this week, perhaps SMU might jump back in the fold. You get a look at that campus, you experience life in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's got to be appealing to a young man.
Absolutely, especially with the new field, Ford Field there at SMU. You got a program that has made some consecutive trips to some bowl games here, so absolutely so. And you get a chance. He could come in right away and play either cornerback or at receiver.
Punt goes out of bounds. And it stays away from Malcolm Lewis, who had a big return earlier in the ball game. So the East will take over on their own 15-yard line, a 25-yard punt. And it will be Justin Thomas back in at quarterback for the East, the 5'11", 178-pound athlete from Prattville, Alabama, heading to the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech.
Now, they definitely got a good one, a versatile quarterback. And we saw how he can get outside the pocket and make defenses pay when they don't account for him offensively.
Thomas, pump fake. Now will unleash his arm, show you a little bit of that action as he throws it deep, incomplete.
Great concentration.
And I say incomplete. Hold the phone. Malcolm Lewis made me eat my words as he was able to come up with an unbelievable catch.
Well, this is a good play here by Jared Wilson, the free safety, number 30. He comes over the top, tries to make a Willie Mays catch, but he tips the ball right to number 85, Malcolm Lewis, and that's excellent concentration. You know, as receivers, you've got to be able to catch the ball in traffic. You've got to be able to catch the ball with distractions. The U is going to get another explosive and very, very sound receiver.
Yeah, very sure-handed receiver in Malcolm Lewis with a 46-yard gain. And now Justin Thomas running out of bounds near the 30-yard line. And Thomas doing it with his arm, doing it with his legs as he picks up 9 on that carry.
And Justin Thomas only 5'11", 178 pounds. And this is not easy at home, folks. You can't shake these people and do crazy stuff in this types of games because these defensive players are just as good as you are. But Thomas there showing his ability to make a play and get outside.
1 minute, 4 seconds to play before the half.
Second down and 1 for the East. As we head to the 1 minute mark in the first half, pass incomplete. Intended for the tight end, J.J. McCullough. McCullough, one of 7 future Clemson Tigers on the field tonight. The East has 5 players on their defensive side alone that are committed to Clemson. So you talk about getting a haul this upcoming recruiting season. Well, certainly Clemson is doing just that.
Clemson just continues to reload. They're already planning a BCS Bowl this year. And it just shows you the talent that they are now attracting, some of the best players. And we've seen year in and out, they get the best skilled players. Now we're starting to see linemen. Now we're starting to see tight ends get in the fray of becoming a Clemson Tiger.
Ball is loose on the field. The West All-Stars jump on it, and it's West ball. Orlando Thomas, a Texan, making a big play for the West as he jumps on the football. Young man from Copperas Cove, Texas, on his way to the University of Texas. Watch this.
Penner again getting that bone, one bone of the game. You got to be able to hold on to the rock, especially when you get in traffic. Makes a big, huge pop there in the line. Orlando Thomas coming up and making that play. Orlando Thomas, another phenomenal athlete, 130th ranked best player in the nation.
And Orlando Thomas played his high school ball at Copperas Cove for the Bulldogs. If that sounds familiar, that's because a certain young man by the name of Robert Griffin III
RG3
played at Copperas Cove as well before winning a Heisman Trophy this year for the Baylor Bears. Caleb Rowe with a quarterback keeper as time continues to dwindle away here in the first half.
Yeah, this is the one area of the game, Doug, that a lot of teams, they don't spend a whole lot of time in the 2-minute offense. You don't have time to install that, so it's basically, hey, we'll get to the huddle as fast as we can, get to the line as fast as we can, call the play, and just try to do everything just a little bit quicker than you normally would.
Rowe on the slant, incomplete.
Ouch.
That ball was intended for Eugene Lewis. And Lewis took a massive shot as he tried to catch the ball by Naeem Wortman, a 6'3", 225-pound prototypical linebacker heading to linebacker U, Penn State.
Well, it's not a good profile or scouting report on Wortman. It says violent hitter. I don't care what any language you read or talk. If it says violent hitter next to somebody, you need to keep your head on a swivel, and he showed you why there.
Way, right? 11 seconds left in the first half.
3rd and 5 with 11 seconds.
Caleb Rowe pumps, now throws over the middle, has a man caught across the 45 up to the 47-yard line. That's Davario Montgomery with his first catch of the night. Montgomery, a South Florida commit and a Rivals 4-star rated recruit.
That was an excellent throw there by Rowe into traffic. Good concentration there by Montgomery. You hadn't talked much about him tonight, but 6'2", 208 pounds. A solid receiver, probably can play on the outside more than the inside, going to the University of South Florida next season, the Bulls.
Young man from Winter Park, Florida, where he was.
Have an ineligible receiver downfield. White, repeat 3rd down.
So a penalty will negate that catch from Davario Montgomery, but still a nice effort from that young man as
3rd and 9.
he shows off a little bit of his skills tonight. Rowe with the last play of the first half, and he'll throw it deep, incomplete and out of bounds as he was trying to find Montgomery downfield. An entertaining first half here at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. And at the end of the first half, it is 7-6. The West All-Stars lead the East, and let's send it down to the sideline. We'll check in with Ted Emmerich.
Coach Richard Solomon, you had to like how your team finished out that half defensively. What do you like overall about this team right now?
Well, right now, we're playing good defense. When we had a chance to make some plays, we got to make those plays. We had a chance to come up with an interception, make the interception when we have a chance. The offense has been kind of inconsistent because of penalties. If they can get what we can line up, and don't do the dumb things on offense, then I feel good about what we're doing on offense too.
Is it a case of just defense being ahead of offense after a long layoff for several of these players?
Most time it is that way where defense is ahead of the offense, but both offenses are playing pretty good. Pitch and catch. As far as on the East offense, we have to catch up with the option. Quarterback's doing a good job. He's scrambling around, so he's doing a good job, But the defense is always ahead of the offense, but the offense has made some plays on us.
Thanks, and best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back.
All right, thanks a lot, Ted. And at halftime, the West is in the lead, 7-6 over the East. We'll have a look at the first half highlights and much more coming your way during the halftime show of the Offense Defense All-American Bowl next. Players coming back out on the field to get ready for the second half of the Offense Defense All-American Bowl from Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. Doug Anderson, LaDarren McClain, and Ted Emmerich with you this evening. And It's been a fun first half. The defense was dominant in the first half for these two squads, but in the second half, LD, as Josh Buchanan said to Ted, I think we're going to see the coaches open up the playbook a little bit more. They're comfortable now. They have a half under their belt, and I think you're going to see maybe a little bit of trickery come your way here in the second half, maybe a few other quirks as these two teams try to open it up a little bit.
You think Josh Buchanan's working his sales pitch, a little subtle hint? Hey, coaches, open the offenses a little bit. I think so. I think he did a good job. And that's what we should see this second half. Get a lot of these skilled players out in the open field. That's what they do best, is run away from people, make people miss. And I'll tell you what, these offensive lines, they're going to get better in this second half. You played some live action, and, of course, they've been going against each other all week. But you get a chance to settle into the game, and you should see some sparks going.
Let's send it down to the sideline now. We'll check in with Ted Emery.
All right, Doug, with East head coach Jack Giambrone. And, Jack, how does your offense get back on track here in the second half?
Well, we're going to basically steal a page from the old West playbook. We're going to try to get ourselves in manageable second and third down situations, a little bit of run, a little bit of three-step, and see if we can continue to make that third down not as long as in the first half.
Is it just a case of defense being ahead of offense at this point? How do you switch things around there?
Well, what's happened is you see as the offense begins to flow, they're getting more comfortable. Some really big plays by both sides. We're going to look for our chances and then try to hit a home run here in a little bit.
Jack, best of luck in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot, Ted. And Jack Giambrone is a athletic director at Sinclair University, former head coach in NFL Europe, and a man who's been around for a long time, has seen some great players come through his ranks. And, boy, this offense-defense All-American Bowl has seen some great players as well. We talked about it at the very beginning of the program tonight. Players like Des Bryant, now with the Dallas Cowboys, and Cam Newton, now with the Carolina Panthers, and the hottest rookie in the NFL, both played in this offense-defense All-American Bowl.
Well, it just shows you that we're getting a chance to see some of the future, not only college but NFL stars, and it gives them a chance to, again, have fun, showcase their talent here on a big stage in a national audience.
Nathan Peterman, one of the East quarterbacks, on his way to the University of Tennessee. With so many big-time schools represented this evening here at Cowboys Stadium. You look, just for instance, at the West defense, 8 players on the West defense committed to SEC schools. You've got 5 going to the Big Ten. And then you've got players going to the Big 12, the Big East, the ACC, and that's the way it is across the board here tonight. So not only are you seeing some great high school football players, but in a couple of years when you're watching SEC football or ACC football, you're going to remember these names and you're going to go, I watched that guy play at the offense-defense All-American Bowl.
I totally agree with you, and I hope the wife set the DVR at home to record this when this goes off, because I want to say, hey, I remember that kid was a senior playing in this bowl game. Now he's in the NFL, so I wonder if I should go down and maybe shake hands of every player down there when we get a chance afterward.
Get an autograph or two.
Get an autograph now.
As your retirement fund. I certainly would need that. Warren Ball and Kenyon Drake, 2 of the leading running backs in the ball game tonight. Limited touches, but certainly we saw production out of both of those players. Ball, you see there, with the touchdown for the West squad.
And you'll see their stats get a little bit better in this second half. This offensive line is going to settle down and be more in the flow of the game, kind of like Coach Giambrone said there. Get in, make some plays, and then they'll be able to take some shots downfield and catch this defense maybe off guard somewhat.
George Bullock will kick the ball away for the East as the West will have the ball to start the second half. Bullock, a big-legged kicker from Knoxville West High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. Did not have to look far for his college scholarship as he is committed to the University of Tennessee.
See if he can put this 5 yards deep in the end zone once again.
And the second half
Kick is a low line drive kick, and take it 2 yards deep in the end zone. And on his way out past the 20, or past the 10 rather, to the 12-yard line is Thomas, as Thomas tries to work a big return, but Thanks to McInnes, it doesn't go very far as the East is in good position on special teams. That's Spencer McInnes, the fullback for the East squad, going downfield on the special teams play.
You got Tommy Armstrong coming out for the second half, getting the start. Did some good things in the first half. A lot of times he had to scramble and get out of the pocket when protection broke down.
Tommy Armstrong has played in 2 state championship games here at Cowboy Stadium. As a junior, he and Texas running back Malcolm Brown led their Cibolo Steel Knights to a 5A Division II state championship. And this past year, just a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, his team lost in the 5A Division II title game to Spring Decaney. Nice moves here as Javon Robinson tries to break it upfield across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Robinson with a 9-yard run for the West to get things started here in the second half.
This is good blocking up front by the offensive line. You see big number 70 again, Corey English, 73, Denzel Dotson. But watch the effort here by number 20, Javon Robertson. Doing an excellent job of trying to find something.
9 yards on the pickup.
Armstrong at quarterback, wearing number 14 on 2nd down and 1. Dropping back, now rolling out to his left. Armstrong has the first down across the 25-yard line. Tommy Armstrong, a dual threat quarterback. He's the very essence of what you would call a dual threat. This past year, passed for 1,700 yards and 26 touchdowns and ran for 1,200 yards and 16 TDs.
Well, the one thing that Armstrong has to learn is making sure he goes through his progressions and trusting his offensive line. And sometimes as a quarterback, when you get rushed early in the game, you take your eye off downfield, you start looking at the rush, and it makes you an ineffective passer. So that's the one thing he has to learn. Trust his offensive line, trust his receivers to be there, and I think in Cornhusker land, he'll have the opportunity to do that.
Hands it off to the fullback, Penner, but Penner loses the football, and it is picked up by the East. Kaiwan Lewis, the 6'2", 225-pounder from St. Joseph, New Jersey, jumps on the loose football.
And that might be the best grab of the night by Kaiwan Lewis. Watch him grab this one-handed. And he had a blocker on him.
And Gabriel Marks was pushing him away from the ball, but Kaiwan Lewis was able to come up with it, the South Carolina commitment, with a big play for the East.
Possession of the football after the turnover.
It's so important in the SEC and obviously any of the ACC. Gotta have linebackers that can run and be versatile outside ball run containers.
Nathan Peterman, now the quarterback for the East All-Stars.
Nathan Peterman at quarterback for the East All-Stars. His pass complete at the 16-yard line as he is able to find Quentin Smith, another South Carolina commitment. You see the comparison between Nathan Peterman and Caleb Rowe tonight. Very similar numbers from a completions and attempt standpoint, but the yards have been in Rowe's favor. Got another injury timeout as we have another man down on the field. It is one of the West All-Stars, and I believe that's Jaleel Johnson, the defensive tackle from Montini Catholic High School, heading to the University of Iowa.
13th rated defensive tackle in the country. He's got a big body. He's 6'4", 313 pounds, the prototypical inside defensive run stopper.
I'd like to thank Cleanskin for sponsoring the All-American East and West teams. Cleanskin.
Peterman doing a nice job on that last play, Doug, of snapping that ball off to the outside, getting it outside to Quentin Smith. Quentin Smith we hadn't talked too much about, and hope that big fella right there can get up on his wheels.
Now Jaleel Johnson, a mountain of a man at 6'4", 313 pounds. Favoring that leg as he tries to walk over to the West bench. Looks like the right leg took the shot. Johnson, one of the Big Ten commitments on the field tonight, heading to the Iowa Hawkeyes. And as he makes his way off, the two squads come back onto the field. Nathan Peterman leading the East offense. Number 10 rated pro-style quarterback in the country, according to Rivals. Second down and 1 for the East. Peterman looks to the end zone, throws to the corner, over the head of his intended receiver, just out of the grasp of Quinshad Davis.
And that was still a good throw there by Peterman. Put it only where your receiver can make the play. And anytime you have receivers, as on the East side, these guys are 6'4", 6'5", you can put it anywhere where they can go up and try to make a play. You gotta like your chances. But pretty good coverage there by Ray Buchanan Jr.
Davis, a tall drink of water as well at 6'4" and 185 pounds. Kenyon Drake with the handoff on 3rd and 1. And it looks like Drake has enough for a first down as he powers his way through the middle.
And they do a good job on the offensive line. You see big number 77 on the line, Eric Flowers. You hadn't talked about him. He's 24th in the nation as one of the top offensive tackles. And definitely, Josh Buchanan has said he will definitely play on Sundays.
Pass incomplete. Kelvin Rainey, the backup tight end tonight, missing on the attempt. The 6'3", 215-pounder from Yulee, Florida, who is committed to the Gamecocks of South Carolina.
It's definitely no secret that Nathan Peterman has a very strong arm. And he's got to learn. We saw it a couple of times on some tunnel screens. You still have to throw the ball with some velocity, but you also have to be able to have the touch pass to give your guys a chance to make those catches.
Give the ball back to Kenyon Drake, and Drake will pick up perhaps a yard. Good job by the West defense to step up here as they are backed up near their own end zone. And Kenneth Nwafor, the 6'5", 298-pound defensive tackle from Cistercian Prep Academy here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, making the tackle. That young man on his way to Stanford. He was a late addition to this roster.
3rd and 8.
Peterman throwing it near side, intercepted. Ball was tipped and then caught by Orlando Thomas, the University of Texas commitment, coming up with his second big play of the night.
And this is unfortunate. Pretty good pass. It's on the outside, and Blake Tibbs has got to bring this in. And it looked like it got tipped a little bit at the offensive line, and we'll probably get a good shot here. Yeah, that ball gets tipped. Blake Tibbs does a good job of trying to make an effort on it, but Orlando Thomas is at the right place at the right time.
Orlando Thomas has a fumble recovery and an interception in tonight's ball game. So Mac Brown and company probably pretty happy with what they're seeing from this young man from Copperas Cove, Texas.
Absolutely so. Anytime you can get a versatile athlete like that, got to be happy with that.
Ball marked at the 14-yard line.
Ball is dropped at the 3-yard line. There's a fight for the loose ball, and it's down at the 1-yard line. The East has it. Keith Byers fumbled the football, and it was, look at that correction, that was Briante Dunn who fumbled the football, and it was picked up by the East. Ronald Gohagan coming up with the loose ball.
It's a simple pitch to the outside, really nothing difficult to handle, and Keith Byers just takes his eyes off the ball, and I think it was probably Geronte Jones had something to do with that. Big number 90 right there coming in, getting underneath that block, and that caused a lot of the problem, and he ends up recovering the ball in the end zone, but it's now going to be at the 1-yard line.
So give the credit to Geronte Jones. Gohagan was in there, but Jones was the one that came away with the loose ball. So
he almost got the hat trick there. Forced fumble, recovery, and a touchdown. Only got 2 of the 3.
Jones, one of those 3 defensive linemen from Stone Mountain, Georgia, playing in the ball game tonight. He is a Virginia Tech commitment. at 6'3"
Dead
and
ball
240
foul.
pounds.
Delay of game, blue.
East with a delay of game penalty, and Matty Mock, the quarterback, looking over to the east sideline to get the signal.
Get a shot there, Matty Mock, and quarterback that's going to be good at the next level. Really a good mechanical quarterback.
Hand off to Byers, and Byers heading toward the corner. Touchdown! Keith Byers Jr. with the touchdown for the East to put them back on top. It's 12-7.
This is all Keith Byers here. A little handoff. The protection breaks down. He gets to the outside and just turns into a foot race. And Doug, this is one of these guys that can quietly come out off the radar, quietly go up here. He hadn't decided what college he wants to go to yet, but he can make a noise for himself here tonight.
Orlando Thomas tried to knock him out of bounds before he crossed the plane, but Keith Byers Jr. did a nice job of stretching out that football and putting it in the end zone for the East to give them a 5-point advantage, and now they go for 2. Pass in the flat, head to the corner, touchdown, or 2-point conversion for George Morris as he is able to convert the 2. And just like that, the East on top of the West by 7. It's 14-7 at Cowboy Stadium. Keith Byers Jr. gives the East a 14-7 lead here in the offense-defense All-American Bowl. Doug Anderson and Ladera McClain with you from Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. And Ted Emmerich down on the sideline. We'll join him after the kick as the East back on top, trying to hold on to that lead against a very talented West offense with 2 outstanding quarterbacks, Tommy Armstrong and Caleb Rowe. We saw Rowe come in the second quarter of the first half and really lead the West offense on some nice drives, and I wonder when we will see him in this ball game. Tommy Armstrong probably will get this possession, but then I imagine Rowe would see some time shortly after that.
Bullock getting set to tee it up.
Oh, he put his foot into that one right there. Wow.
Kick is taken 8 yards deep in the end zone, and Javon Robinson will not return it, so let's send it down to the sidelines and check in with Ted.
All right, Doug, with the CEO of Fathead, Pat McGinnis. And Pat, just talk about your commitment to youth sports, especially this event here at the OD Bowl.
Well, we're very committed to youth sports. Fathead is all about sports, and certainly we want to be part of the community and support youth sports. And obviously the OD Bowl is a great event to be part of. You have some great athletes out here, a lot who may be Fatheads in the future.
What's it like watching your son out here playing for the East?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. He's had a tremendous high school career, and to see him finish it off with this game has been very satisfying.
Pat, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Ted. And thanks to Mr. McGinnis of Fathead. A penalty flag thrown before the play.
Dead ball foul. Illegal substitution. White, 12 players on the field. First down.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you'll run into. We saw some delay of games in that first half. And a lot of times you'll get some substitutions and guys not paying attention, and you'll get mistakes like that during the course of a game like this.
That was something that West head coach Richard Solomon talked about at halftime, was just making sure that everybody lines up right. Able to get the play off. Tommy Armstrong will take it himself. Up the middle he goes across the 20, the 25 to the 27-yard line. A nice pickup on 1st and 15 as Armstrong goes for 12 yards to make it a short second down.
Yeah, that's where he's really dangerous, Doug. When he can get to the next level of the defense in the open field, he turns himself into a skilled athlete when he gets outside of the pocket, let alone a nice quarterback when he's in the pocket. But he's got to be able to manage his game, be patient back there. Let the plays develop a little bit more.
Handoff up the middle for just a couple. Warren Ball. Ball, one of 2 Ohio State running back commitments in the backfield tonight for the West, as he will pick up about a yard to make it 3rd and 2.
That's an excellent job by number 92, Carlos Hood, playing inside defensive tackle that series, doing a nice job of standing up the offensive line, locating the ball carrier. That's why he's going to be a good one at the next level. He's one of these guys that can come right into fall camp and make some noise and maybe fight for a starting position.
Armstrong drops back, throws near sideline, incomplete. His pass was intended for Kavara Holmes, but Holmes could not come up with the grab, and that will bring up 4th down for the West, and we will see them punt the ball away. Kavara Holmes, the first time we've had a chance to call his name tonight. An LSU commitment who is a track star. He won the 3A 400 meters in the state of Louisiana this past year.
And that's saying something. We've seen some horses come out of the state of Louisiana.
Joshua Appleby with a nice punt. This one will take a West bounce. Picked up at the 21-yard line by Tibbs, and Tibbs goes down there. Good special teams play by the West, and now the defense will come out and try to keep the East from adding to their 14-7 lead. Richard Solomon, the head coach of the West All-Stars, coaching up his team as they trail 14-7 in the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. A good crowd gathered at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington to watch just a tremendous amount of talent on the field tonight. And so far we have been treated to some big plays, LD. I think the best is probably yet to come in the remaining portion of this 3rd quarter and then on into the 4th.
It's definitely going to be exciting. Both these teams are close on the scoreboard as well. And I'm just excited just to watch all these kids display their talent here tonight. We've seen some great, excellent abilities among these kids. Really interesting to watch some of these guys do it here tonight.
Justin Thomas is in at quarterback for the East. And on 1st down, handoff across the 25 up to the 26-yard line. 5-yard gain on the play for J.C. Coleman. Coleman, a Virginia Tech commitment, 5'7", 180-pounder.
Coleman missed 3 games his senior season, but still ended up rushing for almost 2,000 yards. He finished with 1970, so with 25 touchdowns on the season.
This time the run not so successful for Blake Tibbs, as the pass was caught by Tibbs, but not for much of a gain.
You look at Blake Tibbs, he's going to be used predominantly in the kick return game. And he's going to the University of Georgia next fall. Another versatile kid, and that seems to be the theme of a lot of big-time schools, are getting versatile kids that can also help you offensively, but continue to contribute in special teams. Blake Tibbs give you that option on the kick return game.
3rd down and 7 for the East. Thomas under pressure, and down he goes. Jaleel Johnson, who was injured earlier in this half, showing you he's back to full strength as he takes down Justin Thomas.
Well, that's a great scene right there. It looked like they were trying to go with the screenplay, and Jaleel Johnson, for one of the biggest guys out there in the football field, can show you that he can get upfield, get to the quarterback in a hurry.
Johnson, 6'4", 313 pounds. So 4th and 14 coming up for the East, and George Bullock will punt the ball away. Eugene Lewis set to return it. Takes it on the run at the 45-yard line across midfield to the East 47. Good field position coming up for the West All-Stars. as they try to respond to the East touchdown from earlier this quarter, brought to you by Keith Byers Jr.
Yeah, we've talked about big players, and Jaleel Johnson is obviously one of the biggest. We haven't talked about Jonah Persick for the West All-Americans at 6'9", 300 pounds. And you're talking about a huge guy, and we'll get a shot of him later on in the ball game, but he's one of these guys that has unlimited potential, and let's keep an eye on for him when he returns back to the ball game.
Caleb Rowe at quarterback, a dump off to the fullback, Pinner, and Pinner with a first down for the West across the 40-yard line of the East down to the 36. As Jaleel Pinner goes 21 yards for the West All-Stars.
Now this is a well-designed play. Pinner back there at the fullback position, comes out of the backfield, runs a nice angle route, and Caleb Rowe finds him. And you can watch Pinner once he gets into the open field, can make some guys miss. That's a nice tackle there by P.J. Williams, one of the top-rated safeties in America.
First down after a 12-yard gain for Jaleel Pinner. And Caleb Rowe with an offset eye in the backfield will hand it off on first down across the 30 to the 29-yard line for Javon Robinson. Robinson has game-breaking ability, but we have not seen him get a chance to stretch his legs in this ball game so far tonight.
Oh, he hasn't, and that's a good example of what he can show you. Running the stretch play and go back to that right side of the offensive line, number 73, Denzel Dotson, and also number 74, Cedric Putasi, on the University of Utah, doing a nice job of keeping their zone block maintained and allow the ball carrier to get upfield.
Putasi, one of the players that committed during our broadcast earlier tonight. Caleb Rowe finds his man across the 25. Robinson down to the 22-yard line. And another first down for the West as Robinson picks up 8 yards.
Now this is a good decision by Caleb Rowe. He wanted to hit the fade in the end zone, but dumps it off to his running back. I'm telling you what, that's an outstanding open field tackle. That's 2 tackles in the open field by number 30, P.J. Williams, a top-rated safety in America. And this is a guy that's playing corner, but most likely may find a home playing free safety. He's going to be a Seminole next year.
First down for the West. And Caleb Rowe under center, drop back. Now we'll hand it off to Ball. And Warren Ball, like a bowling ball, just goes right up the middle and knocks down East defenders like he's knocking down pins.
Again, Denzel Dotson doing an excellent job as the left guard on this play, and he kicks it out, and you see big number 72 there getting some action, Brandon Fanica. And that delayed draw has been a killer. It's been a nice play. Either the quarterback runs it or Warren Ball gets up there and picks some space and run.
14-yard carry for Warren Ball gives him 31 yards on 5 carries tonight.
There's big Brandon Fanica.
From the 8-yard line.
Hand off to Pinner. And Pinner is taken down in the backfield this time as the East defense steps up. Nice play that time for the East defenders. Tankersley with the tackle. Cardrea Tankersley, young man that has stood out this week in practices. A lot of people very high on him, feel like he's going to be a major star at the next level.
He's been a bit raw. This time last year, I should say last spring, he was a bit raw. But now he's gotten his footwork together, able to backpedal a little bit better, and start to get his lateral movement and read the plays. And you saw that as he came up and make a nice tackle.
Pass to the end zone. Is it caught? No. Pharaoh Brown trying for his third and perhaps most spectacular catch of the night, but this time he couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, he did. He almost made a nice play with the defender pretty much mugging him there in the end zone. Well, it looks pretty good, but the referee had the best angle. Let's watch it all the way. I don't know. I think that's it.
I'm still waiting to see the ball hit the turf.
I think that's a touchdown, clearly. And I think the fans are letting him know, too.
Yeah, everybody's got a great view here at Cowboys Stadium. one of the biggest HD televisions in the world showing the replays. And
I tell you what.
I think Pharaoh Brown thought he had a touchdown as well.
Here's the best angle here.
Timeout.
Oh, man. That's a touchdown, clearly a touchdown.
That is absolutely a touchdown. And Pharaoh Brown knows it.
I think Ronald Gohagan knew it too. He just kind of walked off and tapped him, said, good catch, man.
Well, you just hope that Pharaoh doesn't harden his heart toward the officials in the ball game tonight for missing that call and denying him a touchdown. Getting all biblical up in here tonight.
I wonder if they could catch that down in the truck. Well, I should say the truck, they're up here. I know.
They caught it because I'm catching
I
it.
got you. I got you. Hey, I was with you. I'm with you.
I'll tell you one thing that has been very obvious tonight to me, and that is that young man, number 18, Caleb Rowe, has a way of leading this West offense.
I tell you, what's the saying now? He's a leader of men, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's coming in, adapted to what the game is doing, and he is finding open receivers, and when they're not there, he's making a play.
3rd and 13 for the West. Rowe dropping back. Throws to the end zone.
Beautiful.
This time, it's caught. It's a touchdown.
That's beautiful right there.
Gabriel Marks with the touchdown reception. And just like that, the West is back to within a point.
Now look how nice and smooth he gets back and drops the ball right over the top so Gabriel Marks can go up at the highest point and catch this football. And Kadrea Tankersley is a good cover safety, just gets himself out of position. Well, I agree with you, Doug. When Caleb Rowe comes into the game, the offense seems to have some kind of different spark. They're able to do some different things, and they cap it off with a nice touchdown throw and catch.
Joshua Appleby with the extra point, and our game is tied once again with 1:29 remaining in the third quarter. Gabriel Marks with the 13-yard touchdown grab, and this is a thing of beauty.
Now he hits that third step and puts that ball up as he's trying to throw it to that back pylon, and just high enough that Gabriel Marks, it's a pretty nice little celebration there, but Gabriel Marks can go up and catch this football out the air.
I'll tell you what, whoever gets Gabriel Marks, and it might be SMU and it might be somebody else, they're getting a playmaker.
Yeah, they are getting a playmaker. One of those versatile athletes, again, you can put him on defense, Doug. He can do things in the kick return game. And I think he's going to make bread and butter playing some receiver, especially in that high-powered offense of June Jones.
7 plays and 48 yards on that drive. Rowe to Marks for the touchdown. And our ball game is tied once again at 14.
It's starting to heat up a little bit. This is turning into a All-American Bowl game now. Oh, these offenses starting to let it loose. And look at Caleb Rowe's number. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. Managing the game, using the talent around him, Doug, to get rid of the football at the right time, putting it in the right spot, mind you, and that allows his offense to be successful, and he's having himself a heck of a bowl game here.
Joshua Appleby, the kicker, and look at the build on this young man. He looks like a linebacker.
Yeah, I know.
At 6'3" and 235 pounds, a Louisville commitment. He won the Coles Southern Showcase Kicking Challenge back in 2010. This guy, he's got that kicker body that they look for in the NFL, the kind of guy that can run downfield and make a tackle on special teams in addition to kicking. And the ball is loose on the field as it was fumbled on the return by Kenyon Drake, but I think Drake was able to get back on top of it.
Well, they're still battling for the ball right now. This one can't get in there. It's just last man standing.
Wrestling match breaking out, trying to come up with that football. It looks like the East will maintain possession. At least that's the way it looks to me, as the officials trying to sort it out down on the field.
After the confrontation.
Ball was recovered by Blue, first down.
And it will be East football.
The East will keep possession of the football.
Yeah, And Kenyon Drake gets up in there, just loses the ball, knocked out from the side, and it just turns into a scrum at this point. That's a pretty good play there by Joshua Perry, number 57, going to the Ohio State University next year. And it just turns into a fracas right there at the bottom of the pile, but it looks like the East is going to come out on top.
And the East will take over as this ball game is tied at 14. East All-Stars with the ball on the 22-yard line, making the 23 as Nathan Peterman throws deep, incomplete. His pass was intended for Jason Kroom, the 6'5", 223-pounder, committed to Tennessee.
And he's good coverage there by number 44 and wide, Rashawn Jenkins. He's a fast, athletic, and explosive safety, rated number 27th in the country according to Rivals.
Peterman 6 of 13 tonight for 54 yards.
Peterman got a nice strong arm. He just flicked that ball downfield, easily traveled 40 to 45 yards downfield.
Low snap. Peterman handing it off to Kenyon Drake. And Drake no gain as he is taken down at the 23, maybe the 24-yard line.
On the defensive tackle, number 55, Lamar Lewis.
That's a pretty good play on the outside by number 91, Ikenin away for 6'5", 298 pounds, getting out in the open field, just trying to make it tough for Drake, who's obviously the faster player. And that's an interesting story too, Doug. You're talking about Ikenin away for. We talked about he only has 2 years of high school football. This kid's raw. This kid's ready to go. He can be molded into a big-time player, a 3-star prospect heading to next year to the University of Stanford.
Obviously, he's got the physical tools at 6'5" and 298 pounds as Peterman throws under pressure, incomplete, and that was Dawson who got the pressure on Peterman. Joshua Dawson, the 6'5", 230-pound defensive end heading to Vanderbilt. Peterman comes off the field talking to the coaching staff as this West defense has him a little befuddled right now.
Lewis back deep to receive the punt.
Eugene Lewis standing back at his own 35-yard line, waiting for the punt from George Bullock. The 6th punt of the night for the East. Lewis calls for the fair catch and makes it, despite the fact that one of his teammates ran into him. That was Jermaine Edmondson. And the West will take over with good field position as they try to take the lead in the ball game.
And Caleb Rose coming back out again to finish this quarter out. And we've talked enough about the job that he's done tonight leading this offense.
Rowe has been outstanding for the West All-Stars tonight. Only 16 seconds left in the third quarter. Rowe with Briante Dunn in the backfield. He throws over the middle. Ball is caught by Marks, and Marks down at the 44-yard line, close to a first down for the West on what will probably be the final play of the third. After the spot, they give Marks the first down. So 1st and 10 for the West, and that's where they will be when we go to the fourth quarter. After 3 periods of play, Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, the West and the East All-Stars are tied at 14 in the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. The West and the East tied at 14 in the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. Doug Anderson, LaDarren McClain, and Ted Emmerich with you from Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas tonight. Caleb Rowe has led the West All-Stars on both of their scoring drives in this ball game, and now on the field to try and give them the lead here as we start the fourth quarter.
starting to see the yards get a little bit better here in this second half, and both teams were respectfully at 116 and 117 before the half, so offense is starting to pick up a little bit here.
Some offense from the West as Warren Ball takes the ball for a first down.
Ball will have enough for another first down.
Warren Ball starting to chew up some large chunks of yardage in this ball game.
Well, you got to like his inside and outside capability, but he's a tough runner in the inside, and that's one of the things that you have to be able to do is get those tough yards. You finish off those runs, and you saw Warren Ball do exactly that at the end of that run.
13-yard carry for Ball. The West in East Territory. Robinson with the carry. He reverses field. Across the 35 down to the 34-yard line. Javon Robinson with a pickup of about 8.
There they go once again with the stretch play, just trying to get man-on-man up front. And the offensive line doing a nice job of maintaining their blocks. And anytime you get a kid like Javon Robinson some space, he can find those creases against those cutback defenses and do some nice runs like he just did there.
Robinson on his way to Auburn. 2nd down and 1 for the West. A whistle blows before the play.
Dead ball foul. Delay of game. White.
Delay of game again, a problem for the West All-Stars.
Typically in a game like this, the hardest position to play is the quarterback position. You have 11 players to worry about and where they're supposed to be and their responsibilities. You see the penalties tonight. But also, you still have to remember what your responsibility is. And sometimes in the midst of all that, you forget the play clock and you get a delay of the game like that.
Ball marked at the 39-yard line, 2nd and 6.
Rowe under center, 4 wideouts and a single setback. Rowe throwing near side. Eugene Lewis with the catch at the 34-yard line. 5-yard pickup. Gets back the yardage that was lost on the penalty. Lewis, a big-bodied receiver at 6'2", 190 pounds. Has not played receiver full-time since his sophomore year in high school when he caught 772 yards worth of passes and 9 touchdowns. The past couple of years, he's basically been a quarterback for his high school team, Wyoming Valley West in Pennsylvania.
You got to like his ability on the outside. A nice route runner, shields his body against the defender, and a perfect pass outside by Caleb Rowe.
Pitch across the 35 to the 34, no gain there as Warren Ball makes the carry. 1,232 yards this past season for Ball, 29 touchdowns. An Ohio State commitment, and if you grow up in Columbus, Ohio, then I think that's an obvious choice.
Yeah, you're growing a Buckeye through and through as a toddler, and you get to high school, and then your dreams of being a Buckeye can come reality, especially here for Warren Ball.
Bring him in.
Looks like we're going to get our first measurement of the night, Doug.
Shane Cruz coming on.
I think he's got it just by that spot there. Be awfully close.
The tip of the football's nose touching the first down marker. That's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, that's about as close as by the threads of the football, if there are any threads on it.
A first down for the West All-Stars. And they go to work on the East 33-yard line in a tie ball game, knotted up at 14. Rowe fakes a handoff, rolls out, His pass is caught by Marks. Marks across the 20-yard line. Gabriel Marks with a first down. A 13-yard pickup for Marks, who continues to make big plays.
Now, these two have hooked up a couple of times here in the second half, and it is starting to work to perfection. Great job by Caleb Rowe to sell the fake, get out on the naked bootleg. He's unprotected, gets the ball out quickly to Gabriel Marks, and he does the rest. And once again, Doug, this West offense starting to heat up, making some methodical, concise drives here, mixing the run and pass.
West offense lined up on the right hash. Rowe will hand it off. Robinson bounces it to the outside. Inside the 10, Robinson all the way to the end zone. Touchdown. Javon Robinson with a 20-yard touchdown run to give the West a 20-14 lead.
Well, Doug, he's been one shoestring tackle away of cutting back against the grain and making this run like this. And just look at that. That's not easy to run away from some very, very outstanding defensive players, and he gets some good blocks along the way. He gets blocks by receivers downfield and tiptoes that sideline into the end zone.
What I thought was impressive was Jameel Pollard had him wrapped up in the backfield, but Robinson was able to slip out of his grasp and find his way all the way to the end zone. The extra point from Joshua Appleby is good. And Javon Robinson has given the West All-Stars a 7-point lead. 8:35 remaining in the ball game. 21-14 West over the East.
We continue from Cowboys Stadium in the fourth quarter. The West leading the East 21-14. Now joined by offensive guard Brandon Fanica from Utah. Brandon, it's time to commit. Where are you headed?
I'm headed to Stanford University.
What attracts you to the Cardinal and Coach David Shaw?
I love it there. He's just a great coach, and it's the place for me, so that's where I'm going.
Brandon, congratulations. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you, thank you.
Brandon Fanica to Stanford.
All right, thanks a lot, Ted. Appreciate that. 6'3", 310-pound Brandon Fanica from Pleasant Grove, Utah, will be a Stanford Cardinal as he makes his commitment known.
Lewis and Tibbs back deep for the East All-Stars.
7 plays and 66 yards on that last drive for the West, capped off by a 20-yard run by Javon Robinson. Appleby's kick taken 5 yards deep in the end zone. This is Malcolm Lewis heading out to the 19-yard line, and Malcolm Lewis with a decent return after taking the ball 5 yards deep, but still shy of the 20 as the East takes over.
It's definitely going to make for an entertaining finish to this game, and now the East has got to get some things going offensively. I'm surprised they haven't taken more shots downfield, and we may see that here with Matty Mogg back into the game playing quarterback.
Mogg, one of the better arms in the country, passed for over 5,400 yards this past season. Trapped in the backfield and going down was George Morris. But there is a penalty flag on the play. Morris, the 6', 195-pound running back from Georgia, who is committed to Syracuse. He scored on the 2-point conversion for the East. It gave them a 14-7 lead in this ball game, but 14 unanswered points by the West have given them a 7-point advantage. And you saw the face mask penalty call from our officials.
I think it's clear that big number 97, Jaleel Johnson, got injured, is back fully recovered.
Face mask. White. First down.
As he was in the backfield as soon as Morris got the handoff there.
But a face mask penalty will give the East a first down and the ball at the 34-yard line.
For the East All-Stars.
There's Matty Mogg's numbers from this past year, and also the all-time total offense leader in the country at over 21,000 yards. And off to Byers, and Byers not getting very far that time as he is stopped up around the 34-yard line. Got a 5-yard pickup for Keith Myers, the second.
Well, looks like the East are going to bring 4 wide receivers into the game, or now they go to 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end. Just trying to open up this offense a little bit, spread this defense out.
Run the reverse. And now off the reverse, a halfback option pass, incomplete.
Oh, no.
Quinshaw Davis had the throw, and Jason Kroom was wide open downfield, but the 2 receivers could not make the connection.
We were both waiting for some trickeration to go on here in this game, and here it is. Great job by Quinshaw Davis, first of all, to get the pass off. Not only that, put it on the money. And that's one Jason Kroom will probably catch 99 times out of 100.
You only get one chance in a play like that.
One chance, that's right.
And unfortunately for the East, they were not able to make it pay as Jason Kroom could not reel that ball in. It was in his hands, but he could not hold on to it. 3rd and 5 for the East as Matty Mock lines up with a shotgun, throws near side. Ball is caught across midfield at the 48-yard line by Quinshaw Davis, and that is good for an East first down.
Yeah, that's good for Quinshaw Davis. This is a kid, Doug, that runs precise routes, and he's one of the receivers that still looks the ball in. You saw him there looking in when he catches it, and he's not going to run away from a lot of defenders, but he has the strength and the good size to use his body as a shield.
Michigan State commitment Jermaine Edmondson made the tackle on the play. Now going back to Davis at the 40-yard line. And Davis picks up another 8 yards on that catch.
Well, the first time in a while, this offense of the East starting to get into a rhythm. Matty Mock throwing the ball on time. He hits that back step, the ball is gone. And that gives your receivers, Doug, once they catch the ball, an opportunity to beat the defender.
Matty Mock will be playing in the SEC in his future as he is committed to the Missouri Tigers. Mock with time to throw. Now running away from pressure. Mock not known for his scrambling skills, but able to pick up a couple of yards down to the 38-yard line, and that is close to an East first down.
Well, it's been pretty tough all night for these East All-Stars, All-Americans, to find some time back there in the pocket. They've been under duress all evening. Oh, and Matty Mock just takes a huge shot there at the end of that run by number 94, Sevon Pittman. Number 8 rated defensive end in America.
Close-up look at Matty Mock underneath the helmet, if you will.
Matty Mock just trying to get everybody lined up. The play clock is running down under 3 seconds now.
And a timeout called by the East as they were in danger of getting a delay of game penalty. 21-14 West leads the East in the offense-defense All-American Bowl.
.525 remaining in the fourth quarter at the All-American Bowl here in Cowboys Stadium, joined by tight end Pharaoh Brown from Ohio. It's time for you to commit here. You have 35 offers all told. Where are you going?
I'll be going to the University of Oregon.
Pac-12. What attracts you to the Ducks?
Just the people and the academics and what they have to offer me, and like the offense is just the right place for me.
Pharaoh, you were so close to grabbing that touch. In fact, looked like you had it. Your teammate ended up catching it, Gabriel Marks, a moment later, but I'm sure you wish you had that score, didn't you?
It's all right. Everybody knows it's a touchdown. The ref do too, but I'm glad we got the touchdown and finna get the W, baby.
Pharaoh, thanks for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Doug, LD.
All right, thank you, Pharaoh Brown, and quite an entertaining moment there. As, that not only was broadcast over our airwaves, but also over the loudspeakers here at Cowboys Stadium. So our official tonight certainly heard what Pharaoh Brown thought about that touchdown pass being called back.
I don't think I've ever had that experience that before. That's great.
Flag on the play.
Now for good measure, a penalty flag thrown.
Have a dead ball. False start. Blue.
Now, these guys have done a very good job tonight, by the way. And in an all-star game, things are so chaotic at times because you've got so many guys that have not played together in their entire careers, yet they're trying to be a team in 1 week's time. Yes, there's going to be mistakes happen, but the officials have done a nice job of calling what needs to be called while at the same time letting these guys play.
And I think that's the key component, letting the kids play, let them have fun. You know, this is not going to go up as a win. It's going to be for your school or for your college that you're going to next year. This is just for bragging rights. And let the kids have fun. And for the most part, I agree, Doug. They've done an excellent job tonight.
Mock looking for somewhere to run as he goes down at midfield. Matty Mock sacked again by that West defense. And this time it's Michael Richardson who has his second sack of the night. The hometown boy, the DeSoto Eagle, who plays his high school football about 15-20 miles from here, makes another big play.
And he's just relentless back there, still trying to get to that quarterback. Excellent team defense there. Michael Richardson, another outstanding converted player, defensive end like we said in high school. Probably going to make a living playing outside linebacker for the Aggies next year.
And that will bring up second down at 21. And a penalty flag here as Mock loses the snap, has to jump on top of it. There might have been some movement on the offensive line before the snap.
Illegal motion. Offense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Obviously, the East lost more yardage on the fumbled snap than they would have via the penalty, so the West declines it. And now the East facing a very long 3rd and 34.
Yeah, they've been going backwards here on this drive, and with the clock running down, you got to figure how many more opportunities you're going to get to try to tie the ball game up.
Well, if Mock has a chance to let this one loose, he needs to do so here. Mock throwing it over the middle, tipped, incomplete. As the pass was intended for Quinshot Davis. And that will bring up 4th down. And with 4 minutes and 5 seconds left in the ball game, opportunities starting to become very precious for the East All-Stars.
That's a good play downfield by Otha Peters. We've called him a number of times a future volunteer. Making that play in coverage as a linebacker downfield. And also a good play there over the top by Rashawn Jenkins right there in your screen.
And Rashawn Jenkins, the strong safety, a Miami commitment, number 44 there. Played at Admiral Farragut Academy in Florida. No fair catch called for as Eugene Lewis was separated from the football. A great play downfield by the East All-Stars on their special teams unit. I'll take another look at that.
And watch Davion Tooks, number 20, come down there and make a perfectly formed tackle right there and knocks that ball loose.
King on the recovery.
Well, you got to feel right there by Eugene Lewis. He's got to make that fair catch if you feel that defender bearing down on you.
Davion Tooks, a Virginia Tech commitment, 5'10", 176 pounds from Creekside, Georgia. And man, did he lay out Eugene Lewis. West will retain the football at their own 15-yard line, but with under 4 minutes to play in this ball game, if they can march downfield and mount a sustainable drive, then there's every possibility in the world that they run out the clock on this possession. Tommy Armstrong in the game. Ag quarterback Armstrong slips at the 10-yard line and goes down.
Jones on the defensive tackle.
You can kind of feel the intensity pick up by both of these defenses. You know, it was all fun and games in the first half and going into third quarter.
That's their second timeout.
But now it starts to get late in the fourth where the decision of winning and losing comes into play. You're going to start to see the real competitive instincts of all these players come to the forefront here.
Terry Burrell in on that tackle of Tommy Armstrong, one of 7 future Clemson Tigers on the field tonight. He's one of 5 on the East defense, along with Ronald Gohagan and Cordrea Tankersley in the defensive backfield. And on the defensive line, Martin Aiken and Shaquille Lawson also will be heading to Death Valley to play for the Tigers.
Well, that's definitely going to be a loaded group going into Death Valley next year at Clemson. It's like the old saying, the rich get richer. You know, we don't get to see all alma mater getting any players from these games, North Texas. Bless their hearts.
No, don't think.
You're not going to see anybody going there, but oh well. That's life.
That is life, unfortunately.
Bottom of the food chain.
Well, we do have a couple of small schools or smaller schools represented in this ball game tonight as pass is complete up near the 13-yard line to C.J. Curry. And good to see C.J. Curry out there making a grab.
And it's good to see him get back in. Obviously got hurt in the first half with that shoulder.
Very surprised to see him out there
that's
again.
what I'm saying,
I thought he was done for the night.
I think it'd be curtain calls, you know, but hey, want to get out there, close it out, make a play for your team. Technically, one of the last high school competitive games you're going to play. Why not? Get out there showing what you can do. That's a competitor.
3rd down and 11. West needing a first down to keep this drive going and keep the clock running. And who's going to give it to him? Well, it's going to be Javon Robinson, who picks up the big yardage necessary for a first down.
Yeah, you see what he did there. That's a smart football player. He could have gone out of bounds. He probably could have lowered the shoulder, but he's smart enough to get down, stay in bounds, and that's what he's done all evening tonight. He kind of slipped there too, but that's what he's done. He's been able to find those cutback lanes in the defense, makes him very dangerous.
Robinson with a couple of big plays in tonight's ball game. He had the go-ahead touchdown on a 20-yard run for the West to give them the 21-14 lead, and this run gives them a first down, keeps the clock moving at under 2.5 minutes left in the game. Armstrong, play fake, throws deep, incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
As he was trying to find Davian Montgomery. Montgomery is South Florida commitment.
Number 82, Montgomery.
He's one of those guys that is going to what you would consider maybe not one of the bigger BCS schools in South Florida, along with Gabriel Marks, who has committed to SMU. So there's some schools represented tonight that don't fall into that Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State category necessarily.
And that's fine, because a lot of these players are cornerstone players that you can build your program for the future on. Every single player on both squads, you can definitely find some spaces for them to make an impact at your program.
7-yard run for Breonte Dunn. 2:06 left in the ball game, and there's a timeout on the field as the East calls the timeout. I think when you go back and you look also at the landscape of college football, LD, it's not just the big schools that have players going into the NFL these days. It's schools from all across the country, all different divisions have players represented. Why, here in Texas, Abilene Christian, a Division II university, has 2 or 3 players in the NFL.
And that's the beauty of college football. It's starting to get, I wouldn't necessarily say parity, but a lot of these schools are reaching out to some of these top players in the country now and building their programs. You and I've seen personally in the Southland Conference, you know, the FCS level, that, hey, a lot of these top players are going to those schools where they can get in and play right away. And what better situation for a lot of these kids to get ready to play right away in a big college or a small mid-major college?
West 21, East 14 in this offense-defense All-American Bowl. And a great time at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington tonight. Tommy Armstrong, a Texas boy himself, trying to bring it home for the West All-Stars. Hand off on 3rd and 2. And the West will be short. That was Warren Ball trying for that first down. And he is going to be about a yard shy.
It might be a little decision-making time. Will Coach Solomon gamble here and go for the 4th down or punt it away? And it looks like they're going to punt it away.
They will use up as much time as they can and then kick the ball deep and hope that it's enough to give their defense a chance to win the game.
It's definitely going to be an entertaining last minute and a half here because this East offense has got no choice but to open it up.
Joshua Appleby on the punt.
Good punt.
Taken by Malcolm Lewis, the 18-yard line. Lewis stays on his feet as he tries to avoid tacklers up to the 25. And that's where he goes down. Malcolm Lewis with a 7-yard return on the punt. Otha Peters on the special teams tackle. And now it's up to Peters and this West defense to keep the East from tying the
Illegal
ball
motion.
up.
White, the penalty will be on the return. Coach.
That's going to help the field position there for the East offense, benefiting from a penalty from the West kick team.
.107 remaining in the game. And Nathan Peterman is the quarterback for the East All-Stars.
Have illegal motion. Kicking team. First down, blue. Penalties assessed on the return. First down.
Get a look at Malcolm Lewis there, a Miami commitment. Peterman, the player of the year in Class 6A in the state of Florida.
1:07 left to play.
Might he try to find a fellow Floridian in Malcolm Lewis for a big play? Peterman rolls out to the right side, now throws it out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1 minute left in the game.
That pass rush from the West defense has been relentless all evening. These quarterbacks for the East just cannot take time to look downfield and scan through their progressions. You know, Peterman, as soon as he hits that back step, he's running for his life.
That time it was Lamar Lewis, number 55, among others, giving chase to Nathan Peterman. Lamar Lewis hailing from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, an LSU commitment, and Breaux Bridge is known as the crawfish capital of the world.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Sounds like a place I want to visit.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Peterman out of the shotgun. Again flushed from the pocket, and he will run. Going down at the 40-yard line, a first down for the East as Peterman takes it upon himself to pick up the first down with his legs.
That's a good job by Peterman. Nowhere to throw that football from our point of view, sitting up top. He looks downfield, feels that pressure right away by Pittman, and gets out and turns into a football player. But this is a situation, Doug, where the offense is strictly at a disadvantage. Really not a lot of time to get your 2-minute offense in gear.
Pass to the far sideline is caught, and going out of bounds, Quentin Smith, as he stops the clock with 35 seconds left in the game. It's a first down for the East.
You got 35 seconds remaining. At some point in time, you're going to be able to take a shot across the middle of the field. First down obviously will stop the clock. That's a tough job here by Peterman to get everybody lined up, call out the protections, and still get the play off before the play clock runs out.
4 wides for Peterman. Kenyon Drake rolls out of the backfield. Pass is caught across the 30, down to the 29 by Quinshad Davis. and the East offense is rolling. Will it be too late?
There you go. It's a good job there by Peterman to find Quinshot Davis across the middle of the defense, which is going to be the weakest point in this two-cover look defense that this team is playing.
Peterman looks downfield, throws one back across his back. Davis was the intended receiver, incomplete. And that will stop the clock with 16 seconds left in the ball game. You've got a chance at one, maybe two shots at the end zone here.
You figure if you've got 16 seconds. The average football plays are right around 5 to 6 seconds. If you can at least get this first down, you can stop the clock, still have enough time and time on the clock to get everybody lined up and take one shot into the end zone. But you might have to take that shot here if things start to break down.
Peterman
2nd and 10.
looks downfield, under pressure, and goes down. Akina Nwafor, a late addition to this All-American Bowl, and he brings down Nathan Peterman. And that will be the final play of the game. The West will beat the East 21-14 in the offense-defense All-American Bowl.
How about a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for our East and West All-Stars, our All-American Bowl All-Stars here at Cowboys.
Coach Jack Jimbrone on his way over to shake the hand of head coach Richard Solomon, the winning football coach in tonight's ball game. An outstanding job by his staff and these West All-Stars as they come back from a 14-7 deficit to beat the East 21-14. Back in a moment with the Player of the Game awards and a final wrap on this one from Cowboy Stadium in Arlington in a moment.